Hi guys, Mrs. Angel here. So today we're going to be doing an eye self-portrait. So the center of our picture is going to be an eye, and it can be an anime eye, it can be a reptile eye, it can be whatever kind of eye you'd like. I'm going to draw a realistic eye, and then from there I'm going to be drawing some lines, and in those sections I'm going to be putting things that are me, that reflect who I am. So the very first thing we want to do, and all you need today is paper and pencil, and you are going to draw a circle. We're going to sketch a circle in the middle of the paper. So you want to make sure the circle is about the size of a quarter, and you're going to sketch it. And when I talk about sketching, it means going over, drawing lightly. You do not want to push hard. That you almost want it so that if someone came up behind you, they could take the pencil right out of your hand. Next, we're gonna draw an arching line, or like a really wide rainbow. And then for the bottom, we're gonna draw another arching line, but we're not gonna touch that iris pupil area of our eyeball. Next, we're gonna do a sideways U to kind of close it off. And then this one, we're just gonna kind of round it off. I also like to then make the pupil part of my eye. And I am going to then, in here, I'm going to color that in really dark. And I might put a little circle in here for a highlight. But I'm going to use that pencil and I'm going to color that in really dark. Then you're going to do a little bit of shading. And we haven't had a ton of time to talk about shading, but shading is where you're just going to show a value of light to dark with just using your pencil, and it just is all about the pressure. So I'm going to then just lightly shade in my iris, which would be the color of your eye. And maybe you just want to use, maybe you want to leave it and you just want to add colored pencil later, that's fine. And then around here, I might go a little bit darker around the edge, or a little bit darker on the top. And then I'm going to use that eraser on my pencil, and I'm going to pull out some highlights of my eye. And actually, I could have made my pupil a little bit bigger. Next, we want to make sure that we have the eyelid fold, and we're just going to make that little arch line above. And if you want to add eyelashes, feel free. If you don't, you do not have to. But I'm also gonna do this. So I'm gonna shade in this little part right here. That is our tear duct, and I'm also gonna do a little bit shading over here, just lightly. Then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add some eyelashes. And again, my boys probably aren't gonna wanna put eyelashes, but maybe you do, we all have them. But I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna add a couple like little wisps. Going up, kind of out, a couple more maybe. And then yes, you do have a little bit on the bottom, but again, it's not the end of the world because this is our tear duct. So this is the side where our nose would be right here. Okay. So after you have your eye, and I know that I probably went fast, and so we'll slow it down, but the next part we're gonna do is we are going to add lines. So I'm gonna go from my eye, I'm gonna do maybe a wiggly line here, a wavy line coming out here, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just did 6 lines, but I broke my paper up into 6 sections. Now I'm gonna think about things that represent me. For example, I love art. So in one of mine, I'm gonna draw some art supplies or some art stuff. Then I might do my name. If I was born in a different state, maybe I want to put that different state up here. Maybe I want to put if I'm what my sign is. So like I'm a Pisces because I was born in February. So I would put that over here. Maybe you really love pizza, or you love games, or you love video gaming. You draw a video game controller and decorate it. But the idea is to fill those spaces up. And I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do it on a time lapse so you can see. If you're stuck and you can't think of what would go in one of these sections, here are some things you could think of. What's your full name? Do you wanna write them in block letters and fill the whole section? What's your favorite food? Maybe your favorite activities if you're into sports. What are some of your goals and dreams? Do you wanna be a doctor? Do you wanna be a teacher? Do you wanna fix cars? What people and places and things are the most important to you? Do you wanna draw your family, your cat? Those are just some ideas, and you can use patterns, words, shapes, pictures, anything you want, but you wanna just fill that area. So as I'm finishing up here, and again, I'm just doing a doodle that I loved to doodle when I was younger. I would make these swirls on my papers, and I always had a notebook that always had these swirls. And it's just something that kind of represents me. And again, I always just would doodle and fill papers full of these little swirls. So I just thought I would just continue that and keep going in here. I also added, so I have a cat at home, and so I chose to kind of simplify it and make like a little bit of an M with some whiskers, kind of like a little cat. I'm born in February, so I'm a Pisces, so I put like my horoscope sign, the constellation, and then again, a design that I just love to do. I love stripes and circles, so I'll probably add more detail into there. I also put my name. So just a couple of things. We wanna make sure we're going over the eye and making the eye really pop. So right now, we're gonna kind of zoom in and work on that eye a little bit more with some shading. So the easiest way that I can explain to do that is to kind of just keep taking your pencil and kind of going over it. You can always, you don't want to push too hard, you want to just keep shading just a little bit. But we really want that eye to pop. And I know shading's not necessarily the easiest for most of us. We don't get a chance a ton of time in class to practice it because we're usually, painting or doing something else, because this actually does take a ton of time, and you'll do a lot of it in middle school and in high school. But it just makes things look a little bit more realistic. So whenever you want a little bit of a shadow, you want to go really lightly with your pencil and just kind of go back and forth. You can use your finger to rub. If you get too much, you can very easily just kind of erase a little bit. You can, again, we want to make that eye really pop. And I'm actually going to add a little more shading down in here. I noticed I didn't have enough. Oop, and I went out of the line. But again, I am going to just kind of show you how we're just really going to make that pop. Do a little bit more, add a little bit more to the crease, shade a little bit in there. And then when you go to your, the next step, which is if you want to go over and you want to go over these areas with either a pencil or color pencil or permanent marker, you can. I suggest maybe not with the permanent marker going over the eye, because again, you can't shade with a permanent marker. You can't get that different, the different light and darkness with the marker. You just get the one solid black. So I am just gonna, again, go over these areas with, like, some I might just do pencil. For this one, I might just add some shading or go over it again and do some finger rubbing. And then the rest I might decide to color. All right, guys, as you can see, I have added colored pencil to my drawing. I've gone back in and added some more shading to my eyes. And you have the option of just using pencil on the whole entire thing, or you can go in and add colored pencil, markers, whatever you want to do. I've also added some shading into some of these sections. And again, you can play around with pencil pressure. And that is your eye self-portrait.